He then punctuates it, as he often does, with thanks for your attention to this matter. It is signed by the president.
So yes, the U.S. has captured Maduro. Here's an image kind of showing that. But I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of this, because you know the left is going to come out and demonize Donald Trump and try to make him look bad and all these other things. You know it's coming. I'll give it an hour before it starts, if it hasn't already started. It's currently 8:20 a.m. Central Time. First off, I'm going to show you some of the Venezuelans in Florida celebrating. Look at this. Clearly, Venezuelans are happy about this. Also, this was law enforcement. Maduro was indicted back in 2020. Obviously, he wasn't going to come to the US, so we had to go get him or find a way to get him here. He was indicted in 2020. I'm going to read to you a little bit about Venezuela currently. A significant portion of the Venezuelan population has faced oppression under the Nicolas Maduro government, particularly since 2013, according to reports from major international human rights organizations. And you know who loves to talk about human rights? The left. So pay attention if you don't see them talking anything about that currently. There's political repression and lack of democracy. Authorities engaged in widespread arbitrary arrest, torture, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial, especially targeting opposition members.
Venezuela, coño, yo Venezuela, hermanos.
Esta señora que no ha parado de llorar desde que llegó, viene en pijama, como lo pueden ver todavía.
Es muy surreal, pero lo que hay es que disfrutarlo.
Acaban de capturar a Nicolás Maduro y a su esposa. Donald Trump lo confirmó hace 10.
Yes, what I see on social media is totally different. I see a lot of liberals attacking President Trump, struggling to say, oh, this, that. But there is one thing I like with these people struggling to condemn what Trump just did. They always start by saying, oh, this Venezuela president was not the legitimate president. Yeah, he rigged the system. He did this. You know, they start by calling him out. Then they go by saying, oh, Trump violated international law. He's a war criminal. You know, things like that. And then I begin to ask myself, if you understand that this guy was actually not good and you can't win him through an election, then what is the way forward? What can they do to remove him? This is the question that these people are not answering. I've seen these meltdowns everywhere. These people saying this, that, lawmakers coming out to say different things. You know, Trump, when he decides to do something, they will do it. If I tell you the kind of excitement I see on social media with people of this country, it should tell you they were living in bondage despite they pretend like everything is okay.
So this is Nicolas Maduro, and right now online you're probably seeing a lot of people saying, I stand with Venezuela. Some of them are even saying that they're standing with this guy and they're against his illegal. And the question that should be asked to all of these people is, what exactly are you standing with and standing for? Nicolas Maduro is not some misunderstood populist leader. He is the head, and not supposed to be the head, he's an illegal leader of one of the most corrupt, repressive regimes in the entire Western Hemisphere, and that did not happen overnight. You see, Nicolas Maduro didn't win power. He inherited power after Hugo Chavez, and then he systematically rigged the system to keep it. Oh, I stand with Venezuela. Okay, so you should stand with the people of Venezuela who want him gone.
Good morning, Lucas.
Good morning, Charlie. This is what we know. In a daring operation under the cover of darkness at 2 a.m. local time in Caracas, Special Operations Forces, likely the full Silver Bullet package, the National Mission Force, that would be Delta Force, the 75th Ranger Regiment, and perhaps SEAL Team 6, were launched from helicopters of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers, to assault the compound where Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife were sleeping. President Trump confirming the operation in a post on Truth Social. I'll read it for you guys. Posted earlier this morning, the president said, quote, And the president said this operation was a successful operation launched from the United States military to assault the compound and to snatch Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. The president calling it a law enforcement operation. The president says he'll hold a press conference at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago where we should hear more details about this operation. And this comes after months of threats from President Trump saying he will be launching strikes on land. And we just heard on Monday when the president confirmed that the CIA had carried out that drone strike ashore in Venezuela. And of course, he had said that Nicolas Maduro's time needed to come to an end. We heard that interview with the Venezuelan president just yesterday, guys. He sounded almost desperate, saying he wanted to have conversations with the Trump administration, talking about making a deal. He wanted to get out of it. He also wanted to make a deal on oil and perhaps have President Trump allow American companies outside of Chevron to go back into the country. But this assault on the compound was carried out under secrecy, under the darkness of night, and clearly incredible intelligence to know exactly where the Venezuelan president was located, guys.
When you take a look at what Marco Rubio sent out on social media, Maduro is not the president of Venezuela, and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the a narco-terror organization which has taken possessions of a country, and he is under indictment for pushing this into the United States. This is actually what I see on social media now. People, they are only concentrated in talking about Marco Rubio. He spearheaded this. I don't want to go into all this. What Trump did, he has actually put smile into a lot of people. Based on my observations, these people were under oppression. Yeah, for a very long time. And if some people even imagine that there will be a day that things like this will be happening, it will be like a bad dream. It is still not like this has happened. At some point, Trump taking this decision will actually counteract with a lot of people in the MAGA movement like Tucker Carlson and...
Bro, do you know how terrified every other world leader will be right now seeing the US capture the president of Venezuela like that?
A quick question for Donald Trump and his supporters. What's the plan? It's 5 a.m. on the East Coast right now. Donald Trump just announced that the U.S. military has captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the president of Venezuela, focusing on their capital city. And I'm just curious, what's the plan? What are we going to do with Maduro, with his wife? Where are they going? What's next for Venezuela? There's a massive power vacuum in Venezuela right now, and I can guarantee that there are already bad groups in that country.
You can clearly see how liberals, paid influencers are agitated. They are now going after Trump. It is very normal. I appreciate what Trump has just done. Yeah. If you look at the smile in some of these people's faces, you can clearly see they were in bondage. You can't see the pain if you are from afar. Maybe if you were part of these people, you will understand what Trump just did to them. This is something they struggle for years to do through elections, but they can't succeed. He will always take away everything. Now Trump doing this is very important. I don't care who takes over this country. Some people now say, the USA will bring in a puppet that worship America, things like that. If you are treating your citizens well, doing the right things, not violating things like what this guy was doing, I don't have a problem with you. Now other world leaders will be panicking because they think maybe they are next. If you are doing right things, you will not panic. That is a simple truth. I think I'm going to end here. God bless you abundantly. I saw the short clips at the end. That is for the white algorithm. You can share this video.
Should this be the direction the party is going to? He's not the only Democratic socialist. There's about 100.
There you go.
$1,500.
Let's see if they get this.
Well,
I want to see them get
it. MAGA's going to break up because of Donald Trump's criticism of Robin.
Can sit at either place. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
You and your husband were friends with Rob and Michelle Reiner, and
Everybody knew that wasn't true.
A dangerous relative as a likely suspect. A tip that led to her brother, Nick. Rob Reiner and Nick had a heated argument the night before at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, being back on his own. In one interview,
she said,
should have said nothing.
The United States to take this family tragedy in which the president had made no comment.
When
People ought to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolute horror.
That 46
nation lives in poverty, with millions facing
People are treated and judged based